Welcome to the Check Point IPS demo video. Today I'll be showing you the Check Point IPS blade. We'll be doing this on a demo version which provides useful information as opposed to a fresh install. So I'll be using the latest version, which is R77, as you can see here. So IPS adds another layer of defense by analyzing traffic content to check if it's a risk to your network. So it basically provides a detection prevention of specific known exploits, vulnerabilities, protocol misuses, etc. And you can enable IPS in two different deployment methods. So the IPS software blade, which is integrated with the Check Point security gateway, and there's also IPS sensor appliances you can buy individually. So it's basically a device that has only the IPS sensor software on it, so installed for enforcing IPS protection. So you've got both of these types, and both of them can be managed by the Smart Console application, which I'll be showing you very shortly. So I'll be using the demo mode, and when going on to clicking the IPS tab, it brings you to the overview page, as you can see in front of you. So the first part is the IPS in my organization. Basically gives you a summary of the gateway and profile information over here. So 19 security gateways are enforcing IPS. Let me just get rid of this. And two profiles are configured. So these are the profiles. And when you enable the IPS software blade on a security gateway object, the gateway is automatically added to the list of enforcing gateways, and it's assigned the default protection, this one here. When you add a new IPS sensor object, the sensor is automatically added to a list of enforcing gateways, and it's assigned the IPS recommended protection. That's not actually displayed, so recommended protection, and then there's a further one for the sensors here, but we haven't got any sensors in this demo mode, so it's not displayed. So you've got two profiles, default protection and recommended protection by default, but you can further create your own as well. So you've got the profile name here. You've got the IPS mode, whether it's set to prevent or detect. You've got the activation mode, so it's dictated by the policy as opposed to manually, and how many number of gateways are enforcing this protection profile here. So the default protection basically gives you better performance over security, and the recommended protection gives you better security over performance. Again, you can create your own profiles and configure them to your requirements. So the message and actions items here gives you quick access to protection update information, protections maps for follow-up, IPS contract statuses, and links to events and reports. So you can gather all that information from here. Security status. So this provides an up to the minute display of the number of detect and prevent events that IPS handled over a selected time period. And you can rebuild the chart with the latest statistics by clicking on the refresh button here. So you can see what the average events are in your organization here. So the green is average, blue is prevent, yellow is detect. If there's a massive increase in attack, you may have a security issue, or if there's very few attacks, it's a decrease. It may be that your IPS has been configured incorrectly, so you can change the time period for these as well here. And as you can see, the average is green. It seems like the actual prevent and detect are quite similar to the average, so there's not much difference here. So it looks quite good in the demo mode example. And you've got your security center. So security center is a scrolling list of available protections against new vulnerabilities, and the open link next to a security center item takes you to the associated checkpoint advisory, giving you more information about the vulnerability itself. So it's a list of available protections against new vulnerabilities here. So let's move on to enforcing gateways. So this page lists all the gateways with IPS software blade enabled, and you can assign profiles to gateways. So if we click a gateway here, it opens the gateway object, and from here you can specify which profile you'd like to assign to this gateway. So you can, the two profiles we looked at earlier, they're here, so you can specify which one will apply to this gateway. And while we're here, we can also specify whether the gateway protects the internal host only or all traffic in and out of the gateway from here. We've also got bypass IPS protection, so bypass under load. If the gateway is under heavy CPU and memory utilization, so you can log it, and you've got the advanced option of specifying CPU usage and memory usage from here. So if we move on to the next bit, which is profiles, or we can actually have a look at this section here. So this is the part I was mentioning earlier. So Smart Dashboard lets you manage IPS software blades on security gateway and IPS1 sensors. So manage IPS software blade only. So that's the software blade on the checkpoint gateway itself, or manage IPS sensor 1 appliances and software blades. And then you've got the information here, a bit of an overview. So the gateway name, IP version 4 address or IP version 6 address, the assigned profile, whether it bypasses under load. So bypass and load, I didn't quite explain it well. So you can, if your gateway's got a performance impact, you can bypass the IPS protection. So you know, if it's running under heavy usage and you need to disable IPS, for example, you can do that until it becomes you know, reasonably stable again. The checkpoint IPS will be automatically enabled. Products, so it shows you the products. All these are IPS software blades, the working mode, etc. So these are prevent and detect. So the protections are in prevent and detect mode, and we'll look at them very shortly. Let's go on to profiles. So you can customize the profiles from here, and IPS profiles enables you to configure sets of protections for groups of gateways, and I think it's up to 20 profiles that can be created. So you can specify which protections belong to which profiles, all profiles. So a number of, you can specify a protection to a number of profiles, or you know, just a single profile. So it's entirely up to you. The profiles can be applied to groups of devices that need to be protected against those certain attacks. So we've got the two profiles here. So if we double click on one of them, you can create a new one, or you can edit these. We'll just double click one of them, and we can see what's inside the profile. So we've got the IPS mode, so you may want to specify whether to use detect or prevent from here. You give it a name, comment, you can even give it a color. Protections of type engine settings are not affected by IPS mode, so we'll have a look at the engine settings shortly. Protection activation, so you can activate protections according to the IPS policy. So let's IPS activate protection automatically according to the IPS policy criteria, and then the manual one is basically do not let IPS automatically activate protections, activate them as required. So that's the next section here, so IPS policy. So if we click that, and these are quite self-explanatory. So automatically activate protections of the following types. So do you activate protections for client protections? You can click that, so client protections themselves will be protected. Or server protection, majority organizations just have server protection. If it's, you know, very specialized in a specific area, etc., you may just protect servers in the DMZ, or you know, set of special servers for web services or whatever. DMZ, it could be LDAP services, DNS services. You may just have this tick box enabled. But if you're generally having the gateway as an edge gateway, you're just protecting everything in the organization. You may have them both, but just bear in mind, the more tick boxes enabled like these, it's more of a performance impact on the gateway itself. Then you've got protections to deactivate, so you can deactivate protections, and there's a guidance here. So do not activate protections with severity, and you can specify the severity. So if it's a low severity protection, or below, you know, for example, do not activate it, because the more signatures that are activated, it's a performance impact. Again, same with confidence level. If checkpoint are confident, it's you know, it's definitely a legitimate attack. For example, medium or below, then do not activate. You may want to only activate the ones that checkpoint are confident that are attacks from medium high to high. And then that the same for do not activate protections with the performance impact itself. So If the performance impact or above is medium to high, you may disable it because your gateway may run under heavy usage, and that'll be bad for your network. So yeah, you can change these as required from here. And then there's also a protocol anomalies as well. So basically what this is, do not activate protocol anomalies, is it's ensuring the protocol meets the RFC specification has not been tampered with. So this could be an indication of attack, so you could keep this checkbox enabled as well. And then there's do not activate protection in the following categories. Click that, click configure, you can add a category here. These categories, by the way, is just a replica of what's here, and we're going to be having a look at very shortly anyway, so I'll cancel that. Let's go to network exceptions. So you can add network exceptions, so it bypasses the protection or the profile. So because we're in profiles at the moment, the profile properties, it's got default protection in here. So it's saying for this profile, bypass protection. So what you can do from here is so you can make network exceptions based on source IP address, destination IP address services in the middle section here. You can apply the exception to a single protection or to all protections from here, or you can apply the exception on a particular gateway or all gateways from here. So you've got the options to bypass protection, make network exceptions from here. Finally, the troubleshooting section, you can set protections to detect mode for troubleshooting purposes if IPS is having a particular issue. Okay, let's move on to the core of the IPS solution, which is actually the protections themselves. So click on here. Basically, protections are a configurable set of rules which IPS uses to analyze network traffic and protect against threats. So what we've got here is protections can be by different types, such as, if we break down the types, signatures. So signatures are created for an exploit against a vulnerability. It could be for protocol anomalies, again meeting the RFC protocol standards, for application control, so for enforcing company requirements of application usage, and engine settings as well. So this is a group protection that contains settings that alter the behavior of other protections. And then there's also by protocol, so you've got network security here, network type attacks such as DOS and TCP, etc. Application intelligence, this is protection for application layer attacks. And then you've got web intelligence. This is like web application firewalls, for example. So clever protection that understands the construct of web application servers. So you've got that here as well. So we'll have a look at a few of these. We'll start off with, we'll go back to signatures just to have a look at the overview page. So you've got the protection name, so what the protection is itself. You've got the category, you've got the severity. So probable severity of a successful attack on your environment is here. So these are critical, some are medium, some are high, some may be low. The confidence level it's attack here, how much of a performance impact it will be on the gateway. You've got the industry reference here, so it's international CV or CV candidate name for the attack, using a national vulnerability database. Release date, so when the attack was released or the signature was released. The products, so yeah, it's for the on the IPS blade, and what it's supported on. So supported from R65 and above, or R70 and above for each particular protection. And the profiles themselves are here to show which profile it's activated or inactive, or it's in prevent mode or detect mode, etc. So you can see all that from here as well. I think that's pretty much it. I'm not sure what this middle one is here. Oh, it has exceptions, so if you've got exceptions as well. And there's one here as well. This is follow-up, so if you want to follow this protection up because you're analysing it at a later time, you may do that as well, and we'll talk about Followup shortly. So if we open up one of these, let's just go for Adobe Reader. So we can see here again the severity level, confidence level, etc. We can also edit it, and you can also, it's inactive at the moment, but you can manually override it. So you can override it from here and put it into prevent mode, for example, and you can track it. So you've got the different tracking options. So none does not record the event, basically. Log it records it, the event details in SmartView Tracker. Alert records, logs the event and executes a command such as displays a pop-up window or sends an email alert or an SNMP trap alert, etc. So all these here, email alert, SNMP trap alert, user-defined alerts. So these can be further configured. If I show you, if we go to policies, if we go to global properties, and we go to log and alert here, no, it's in alerts here. So you can further configure these and run scripts against these. So here's the alert commands, the pop-up one, the email one, the SNMP one, and the user-defined ones are here. So if we go back to signature, edit, just give it that, and then we can capture packets. It captures packets anyway, so this allows the packet to be captured for additional analysis in SmartView Tracker. So a packet capture is automatically attached to the first log generated by protection anyway, but if you want to capture packet data for a protection for every malicious packet that is logged, then you turn this option on. So if we go across here, again, network exceptions, if we click here and click new, because we're in the Adobe protection, you can see that it's already been, assigned here for you. So basically network exceptions again that we spoke about. Description, so you can see the description for the vulnerability, threat description, IPS protection, and the attack detection. And you've got some links, so the industry reference, let's click this, basically the National Vulnerability Database, it just shows you some information on it. And you've got the Check Point Attack ID, some information from Check Point on it here. That's pretty much it. You can make notes as well if you want. So I think that's that. Let's have a look at some more bits on protections, since this is the core. You want to fine tune these protections, by the way. Every single protection you want to have a look at, and you want to fine tune it to your environment. So it's fine tuned and you're not getting problems, false positives, etc. So if we go to network security, and there's one in here, it's DShield. If we click this, go to description. Basically, this gathers login information about attacks and shares it with other organizations from around the world. So one of the leading storm centers, SANS dshield.org, and IPS integrates with SANS dshield.org storm center. So basically, it produces a block list report, which is a frequently updated list of address ranges that are recommended for blocking. So you could, it's very good to leave this on. And I wanted to show you some specific places where you could specify your servers. So there are 3 places that you can specify your servers for: DNS, email, and web. I believe it's in application intelligence. So DNS, so for any DNS protections, specify your servers in here. Oops. For mail, for all these mail protections, specify your servers in here. For web, let's minimize application intelligence because web servers is in web intelligence. So for all these protections, specify servers in here. So it's good to specify servers because again you're fine tuning your protections. And if you don't specify these servers, protections will apply to all DNS, mail, and web traffic, which may be something you don't want because it's performance impact on the gateway itself. The other bit I wanted to mention is it protocol anomalies? No, it's engine settings. So here you're basically kind of further tuning the way Check Point IPS will check for attacks. So it's all about tuning it to your environment. So if you look at one of these, an easy one for me to kind of explain is probably, let's look at DNS. So it shows UDP is specified because DNS runs over UDP. Well, 99% of the time it does, but you might be running over TCP or TCP and UDP. For example, I think Microsoft Zone Transfers is over TCP, so you may need to run it over TCP and UDP. So you can further sort of fine-tune your protections here as well in the engine settings, and you want to go through all of these, every single attack or protection, should I say. So the next part is geoprotection. So geoprotection allows you to control traffic by country. You can define a policy to block or allow traffic to or from a specific country or countries. So country information is derived from IP address in the packet by means of an IP to country database. So ensure you're connected to the internet to download these latest mappings, IP address to country mappings. So if you've not got a requirement to communicate with the country, you may as well block it. So this is done per profile. So default prevention is based on prevent. It's got these countries. If we just go to recommended, it should change. It's inactive. Let's go back to default and just put a country in there. So we can add one. You can specify any country. Just pick one from here, and then the direction, is it from and to the country? It may be just from, or it may be just to. The action, you may allow it or block it, track it, and put your comment in. Okay, and it'll appear here. And you can also edit it, remove it, and then you can do for all other countries, you can do the opposite. So if you're blocking it here, you may allow it for all other countries. If you're allowing only specific countries, you may block the rest of them here. We've got an advanced section here, aggregate logs by country. So yeah, so if this is unchecked, a log is created for every connection that is tracked by this protection. But turning off log aggregation by country may result in a lot of generated logs, which could affect the performance of the gateway. So definitely leave this enabled. So next section is network exceptions. Again, we've been through this twice. So you get this in the protections area, in the profiles area, and generally in this area as well. You can configure network exceptions. You may not want to scan for any of these protections in a specific area of the network, for example. So you can do that from your gateways or for a protection, for a profile. So you can do all that here. So we've got download updates, so you can update now from here. You can schedule the update. So let's go for schedule, enable IPS schedule updates. You can edit the schedule. So general, just put a name in so you can do this time of event every hour, minute, second, days, every day, day of the week, specify the week or day of the month. You can do that from here. You can specify the user credentials, so you can access the user center here. And advanced options, so on update failure perform the number of retries, or on successful update. The update policy will only be installed on gateways with IPS software blade enabled. Both IPS and firewall policies will be installed. Okay, so you can specify the install policy, which gateways will be installed on, etc. So you can do that from here. You've got some notices here. Let's cancel this. And you can do an offline update as well, and you can specify the file. And you've got some advanced options here, so revision controls and check for new update while the smart dashboard is active. So you've got follow-up as well, so anything you want to follow up, anything you've specified to follow up, should I say, will be here. And the follow-up mark provides monitoring features for IPS protection. So it's a one-stop page for protections to monitor and easy access to newly updated protections. So if we go back to protections, let's go to this again. You can follow it up, so you can say, you may think, I need to have a look at this protection. I need to have a look at the way I want to configure this protection. So follow it up. And then it's saved in the follow-up page, so you can have a look at it at a later time. There's also mark newly downloaded protections for follow-up, so you may not want to prevent them ASAP. You may want to only detect them, and then later on you want to have a look at them, fine-tune them before you prevent them. you know, to save you from any issues, any false positives, etc. So you can do that from here. Now, additional settings I've not really looked into myself. This is more general. So if we go to HTTP inspection, so you can enable HTTP traffic inspection on security gateways to inspect traffic that is encrypted, which is HTTPS inspection. Sorry, so HTTP. So you can inspect HTTP on non-standard ports other than port 80. So if you're sending HTTP traffic over other ports, then you can inspect it after enabling it from here. HTTPS. So again, inspecting traffic that's encrypted. So HTTPS is not only for IPS, to be honest. It's for others as well, application, DLP, email, etc. But we'll have a quick look at it anyway. So yeah, so it's basically for application control, URL filtering, IPS, DLP. And there are two types of HTTPS inspection. One's inbound HTTPS inspection, so you can so inbound packets to protect internal servers from malicious threats from the internet or another network. So inbound to your services. So you may want to decrypt it, scan it, re-encrypt it before you send it back to your servers from the internet. And then there's outbound, so inspecting internal client traffic to a destination outside of the organization. So there's two types, and to make this work, the security gateways needs to be what is known as a man in the middle, basically intercepting traffic, then decrypting it for inspection, and then re-encrypting it before sending it on. And to do this, you've got to first there's the outbound HTTPS inspection, and if you configure an outbound, the required steps are to set the security gateway for HTTPS inspection, and this is done from security gateway HTTPS tab. So if we open this up, HTTPS inspection, so we've got to configure these, and these look like they've been configured in the demo mode, so you're actually viewing the certificate. Maybe it'll be easier if I show you on my actual build, checkpoint build. So if we go to this object, checkpoint I77, my gateway, and go to HTTPS inspection, so you can create or you can import a certificate. This for outbound inspection. Once you've created it, then you can generate a certificate on the security management server or import and see a certificate already deployed on your organization. So if it's been generated, then you need to import the certificate into the client's trusted root store, and this lets the client computers trust all certificates signed by this certificate. So if this is not done, then an SSL error message will be displayed in their browser. Of course, you want to enable HTTPS inspection from here. And once that's done, you can start to create policies. So you can create policies from here. To do inbound HTTPS inspection, you set the security gateway for HTTPS inspection, as I just showed you just then. You import server certificates for servers behind the organization security gateway, and you do that, I believe, from here. So you can import the server certificates in here, and then you can generate HTTPS inspection policies in the policy area here. So looking at HTTPS policies, so we can do this for application control, URL filtering, etc. Even with identity awareness, if we've got that, it lets you make rules for individuals or different groups of users for HTTPS scanning. And you've got the predefined rule at the top here. So when you enable HTTPS inspection, a predefined rule is added to the rule base, as we can see, and this rule defines that all HTTPS traffic from any source to the internet is inspected on all blades enabled in the blade column. So in this column here, you can specify the blades here, and this you could you could open this section up from any of the other blades as well. So here's the blade. So if we go to application control, we should have the same sort of thing. So if we go to advanced here, here's TPS Inspection policy, and here's that rule. So if we create another rule here, we'd see it in IPS as well. So it's shared amongst all the policies. Let's just cross this off. And so you can create further policies here. For example, you can exclude certain sites and categories, such as financial category, as it may be a company policy to not to decrypt financial information, such as a user logging into their online bank account, for example. So you can create a new policy using these widgets here, and then you could, specify a category. I think I've got a problem here, but let's just keep it running for now. So you can specify a category, and then you can pick the option to, let's go to the local one, see if this is any better. TPS Inspection policy. So you can specify a category from here. Financial information, financial services here, and then you can click OK, and then the inspection will be bypassed. And then you do that for a new rule, for example. Also, to bypass software updates services, ensure the checkbox at the bottom is ticked as well. And you get a list of what it's bypassing. So if you click that list, or it just gives you an overview, I think. So it gives you, a bit of information on what it's bypassing. So Check Point updates, Microsoft updates, SeaMonkey updates, Mozilla, Java, Adobe updates. So it'll bypass these, so it's not causing any issues there. And that's pretty much it. So you've got some other tabs. The gateway pane. So this lists the gateways with HTTPS enabled, and you can make changes such as you can renew the certificate validity date range and export it for distribution to the organization client machines. You can also import a generated CA certificate to the security management server from a gateway from this section. So you've got, I'd be able to show you in demo mode. There's a lot more information, but I think I've got a problem there. So trusted CAs, you can view the trusted CAs, and you can change things from here if required, such as updating the trusted CA list or importing an outbound certificate. I'll make a new video on all this section, and we'll actually start testing things, but this is just a quick overview of this area. And then you've got HTTPS validation. So you can validate certificates to ensure they are trusted from here, and optionally blacklist certificates. You can also check the CRL list for certificate to verify it's not been revoked. So that's pretty much it for the IPS section. You can monitor it in the usual ways. You can use Smart View Tracker, Smart Log, Smart Event to do monitoring, and maybe just a couple of tips I could leave behind before we end this video. So you should definitely activate protections of critical and high severity unless you are sure you do not want that particular protection activated. Make use of the follow-up feature. Make sure to keep the list of MAC protections as short as possible, though, so that you're able to keep on top of it. It's also recommended to create separate profiles for groups of gateways and versions, such as maybe a profile for edge gateways and another profile for data center gateways. So create different profiles for different gateways, or even for different versions, so R70, R75. You should enabling low severity and low confidence signatures may cause performance issues, so only enable them if you really need to, or you're protecting very sensitive resources. And finally, you should start with a focus point on high severity and confidence low protections. Then once you think you've got it right, look at other possibilities if required. So I think that's pretty much it. The other bit I wanted to mention, I think I've got it in a notepad here, is how to test it. So I haven't actually. So you can manipulate a ping packet. So you can do a ping 10.10.10.10 space hyphen L space 1800, which is the size of the ping packet. So you're making the ping packet larger, which will cause basically a large ICMP packet, and you should get a message such as fragmented ICMP or large packet size, fragment exceeded, or something like that. So this is a very simple IPS test. Really, you should just use Metasploit or something like that, or Backtrack if that does it. But you know, ping 10.10.101.10.10 hyphen L 2000, and you know that hopefully should come through as a malformed packet or something. So it's just a basic test to see if your IPS is actually running and it's actually, you know, working. A very basic test anyway. So I think that's it from me, and I'd like to thank you for watching.